Good afternoon. This is cause number 2020-79571. In the interest of Tyron Cox, please, all parties raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Ms. Roshan, you need to respond verbally.
Okay, I agree.
All right. Please state your name and your relationship to the child, ma'am.
Victoria Rostron and mother.
For the state,
Angela Jeffries with the Office of the Attorney General.
What was that?
court will note that Tyron Cox is the non-custodial parent. He is not present.
He is not, Your Honor.
He was served on February 26, 2020. I'm sorry, 2021 at 11:06 a.m. at 209 Sun Air Court, Apartment A, Wilmington, North Carolina. He's not filed an answer.
He is not.
We'll proceed by default.
Your Honor, he also did get further notice in this case.
All right, court will note that Mr. Cox was given notice of this hearing. I suppose he was given notice of the hearing. Is there an attached letter to this?
Yes, Your Honor, there should be on the last page of the documents you received, the green sheet showing that he did also receive a letter with the order setting here.
Hold on. I don't have it. Maria, is there another? It didn't print out? That's all that printed out.
Okay, Your Honor, if you give me a brief moment, I can forward over that, that letter as well.
All right, why don't you do that? And I will look at it. I'm assuming that it's informing him of this Zoom hearing, but
Yes, Your Honor.
that he was informed of the Zoom hearing by certified mail return receipt requested, which was delivered at 4:26 p.m. on May 28, 2021 in Wilmington, North Carolina, and he has not checked in nor has he filed an answer. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, let's proceed, and I'll look at that. They'll print out that letter as soon as they can. I'll look at it. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, before I proceed, I'd like the court to note that Tyrion Irene Cox has the same name as his father. Ms. Roston would like to ask the court if we can add Junior to the pleading, or for the sake of proceeding today, she would like the order just stay the same as it is. But he is technically a junior in this case.
The mother wants it to stay the way it is.
She's either asking, Your Honor, if we can add Junior to the default order because on his birth certificate he is a junior, or
Absolutely. Absolutely. We
Okay.
need to add it. We need to get a new order or an amendment. Is the petition doesn't indicate that he's a junior?
No, it does not, Your Honor. It does not.
All right. Well, let's amend that and add junior.
Okay. Will you still be allowed to proceed with our default, Your Honor?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Victoria Elizabeth Rostron. Ms. Rostron, you're the mother of Tyrion Irene Cox. Is that correct? Sorry, Tyrion
Yes,
Irene Cox.
ma'am.
Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
correct? All right. And who's the father of Tyrion Irene Cox?
Tyrion Irene Cox.
Okay. And were you intimate with anyone else around the time that Tyrion Irene Cox Jr. was conceived?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever held out that anyone else was the father of Tyrion Irene Cox Jr.?
No, ma'am.
All right. And was Tyrion Irene Cox Jr. conceived in the state of Texas, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And are you asking this court in line with that to find that Mr. Tyrion Irene Cox is the father of your son?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have not ever been married to anyone else. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Right. Now, as far as your relationship with Tyrion Cox, how would you describe that relationship, good or bad?
Bad.
Okay. And so as far as making the decisions regarding your son, those day-to-day decisions, who makes those?
Me.
Okay. Do you think that you can co-parent with Mr. Cox?
No, ma'am. I've tried in the past and it doesn't work.
Okay. So are you asking this court to appoint you as the sole managing servitor of your son?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you live in Harris County, Ms. Roston?
Yes, ma'am.
And where does Mr. Cox live, to your knowledge?
North Carolina.
All right, Your Honor, that will also be amended. Are you asking that there be no geographical restriction in this case because Mr. Cox does not live in the state?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, as far as visitation, when's the last time that Mr. Cox seen your son?
When he was 6 months old.
Okay. Would you have any issue with the court appointing or ordering overnight visitations unsupervised with Mr. Cox?
Yes, ma'am.
What type of visitation do you think would be appropriate in this case?
Supervised.
Okay. And why do you think supervised visits are appropriate in this case, ma'am?
Just safety reasons.
Okay. Now you mentioned safety reasons. Do you believe that if Mr. Cox has your address, that might cause you harm or harassment?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And in the past, has there ever been an issue of family violence between you and Mr. Cox?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And were the police ever called?
Yes, ma'am.
When were the police called because of a domestic violence situation between you and Mr. Cox?
Yes, ma'am.
When, ma'am? What year?
A year ago.
Okay. Do you have a month and a year for the court?
I don't. Maybe June 2020.
Okay. And what happened in that incident, ma'am?
He tried to push me over a staircase upstairs.
Okay. And did he go to jail for that?
No, ma'am.
Right. And were any charges filed for that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. But because of that 2020 incident of him trying to push you over the stair railing, you feel like visitation basically occurs in a supervised setting?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you want that visitation to be at the Chili's restaurant located at 5050 East Freeway, Baytown,
Yes,
Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you're saying that after you always want the visitation to be supervised in this case? Ms. Roston?
Yes, ma'am.
Always want the visitation to be supervised in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, do you feel like Mr. Cox having your address will cause you harm or harassment?
Yes, ma'am.
And does he know where you live right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So why do you believe him having your address will cause you some type of harm or harassment?
Because he's harassed me in the past and still to this day does.
Okay. So because of that, are you asking the court to not disclose your address in this order?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, do you know if Mr. Cox has a job right now?
Yes.
But do you know where he works at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where does he work?
Family Dollar.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge about how much he makes an hour?
No.
You understand that this order is based off a minimum wage presumption, ma'am?
Okay.
Okay. And do you know if Mr. Cox has any other children under 18?
No, ma'am.
Now, as far as the cash medical in this case, are you asking that the court order cash medical in the amount of getting Mr. Cox? Give me 1 second, Your Honor. In the amount of $57 beginning July 1st of 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And also for child support, based on the minimum wage presumption, do you understand that your child support will be $216 beginning July 1st of 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And if court costs are ordered in this case, who do you believe the court should bill court costs against?
Mr. Kieran.
All right. Now, as far as retroactive, you're seeking retroactive or back child support in this case from October 6th, 2020. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Has Mr. Cox given you any money for the support of your son since October 6th of 2020?
No, ma'am.
Have you lived with Mr. Cox since 2020?
No, ma'am.
Are you asking this court to enter judgment in the amount of $2,052 as of June 21st of 2021, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Cox be ordered to pay $75 on that judgment beginning July 1st of 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
You signed this default order, is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Believe it to be in the best interest of your son? You're asking the court to approve this default order.
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, the court confirmed that the certified mail did advise Mr. Cox of the hearing that we've held today, and he did not check in. Is that correct, Ms. Jeffers?
He did not, Your Honor.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you very much.